All right. Welcome, everybody, once again to the MC Squared podcast. We've got a very special edition, Jimmy, kind of like a Thanksgiving leftover podcast edition today.
Or a potpourri, if you will.
A potpourri,
A potpourri.
yes. Others might see this as a little bit of like a lightning round. We've got just a bunch of subjects we wanted to touch on briefly, and nothing enough for a podcast, although Jimmy's got a great story. Maybe a little teaser. I don't know.
Yeah, we could
what's
tease
it
it
about?
now.
What's it?
Well, I purchased a storage unit.
Oh yeah,
And I
we
found
got to
some
hear about this.
surprises.
Yeah, we got to hear
Yeah.
about this. All right, so let's go.
All right.
I got a fire in me, you're gonna set to burn. And we got a world to see, and all the time to learn. Oh, hey. Let's set out on our road. Hey. We'll see how far we can go.
Indiana politics. All right, so Jimmy, since we were last here, there was a mayoral election here in Terre Haute, and
Yes,
it
sir.
made national headlines.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
We had a Republican mayor, Duke Bennett, for 4 terms. He was running for a 5th term, and instead, the city chose Democrat Brandon Sackman,
Yes.
27 years old.
27, yes.
Yeah, 27 years old. Army Ranger, former Army Ranger. Very eloquent, youthful, obviously.
Yeah.
Lots of energy.
Lots of
comes with lots of ideas. And it just was no match, I think, for what had been. And Duke Bennett has done a lot of great things, was a good mayor. Generally well liked by a lot of folks. I just think he just, you run into that generational shift, and you get folks they're wanting something fresh, they're new, exciting, and I think that's what happened.
Yeah, and it's a non-presidential election, so sometimes you're
Yes.
going to get less of the R's coming out for it.
Right.
But I really don't know if that mattered. I mean, by the margin, it was pretty large.
It was resounding.
Brandon has a lot of energy.
Yes.
I mean, I think he brings something new and fresh, and he is the youngest mayor in Terre Haute's history,
Yeah.
and so he's got a lot of recognition for that
Right.
already from the state side and the national side.
Right.
And I think we both believe this is not his end game at 27.
No, I think he's intimated to other folks, nothing to me, of course, not even of his party, but that there's another political office he'd be more than interested in running for and winning. So it's going to be really interesting because he hasn't been sworn in yet. And already there's been some controversy with some of his picks. He's compiled a team of advisors that's been a bipartisan team, and there's been but there's been folks that supported him that are not happy with some of the picks, and so it's going to be really interesting to see at 27, is he going to be able to hold his own, or is he going to get pushed around, do you think?
Well, I tell you the one thing that I do like is the fact that he is young. He's not been a part of any part of politics, really,
Right.
in Vigo County. And I think with maybe a goal of going larger someday, maybe sometimes he just doesn't care. And so I think that might be a good thing. So the people that have been upset, they were supporters. I feel like that's good.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Just for political considerations, I don't know. I wish him the best. I feel like I've got nothing critical to say about it right now because there's just so much where he's going to have to prove himself. I wonder if the forces behind him in the Democratic Party aren't stronger than he is. if you know what I mean. I mean, he's coming in as a Democrat, young mayor, and he's got a Democrat council. These are old timers. They're the backbone of that party. They are not going to get pushed around. They're not going to. At least that's what I'm assuming. You know, it's what it seems like at this point. So well,
I think he'd be less. I think he'd be less likely to be pushed around. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding ageist than putting a 65-year-old Democrat in there. I think he'll be less likely to be pushed around.
Okay,
that's my thought. Maybe I'm just.
I hope
being
so.
Optimistic.
That is, that'd be great. And I think we all, obviously I'm a Republican. I'm not interested in supporting the Democrat Party. I like to see the Democrat Party be relegated to the ash heap of history. So that's you want to talk about partisan? I'm very partisan, but I wish him all the best, because if he succeeds well, if he does a good job in some of the things that matter the most, which is crime, and budgetary matters, keeping the city's finances in good shape, and then we all do well.
Well, Terre Haute wins.
Yeah, Terre Haute wins,
goal.
and that is the goal. And we do wish him the best. And congratulations on that. On that win. And he campaigned hard for it. He certainly deserves it. He worked his butt off. So
yeah, he really did.
And thanks to Duke Bennett for 12, 16 years of service to the Terre Haute community. Yeah. Always there at supporting small businesses and large businesses, and was a good representative of Vigo County. So moving on from there, we've got this. I went to a Lincoln Day dinner in between. There's a bunch of candidates. Next year is the governor's race here in Indiana, and interestingly enough, a part of that is the lieutenant governor, which has always been it's chosen by the convention in June. So you have the primary in May, you have the convention like in June, and in June the delegates get to pick the lieutenant governor, but it's always kind of a formality only, because who comes out of the primary as the Republican nominee tells the convention who they want. And so it's never been any controversy. Well, This year is totally different, because Micah Beckwith, a pastor, political activist from up north, Noblesville area, I think, he has already thrown his hat in the ring. He's running for lieutenant governor. He's already contacting delegates.
I like that.
Yeah, and he said basically, he's very conservative, and it's basically to give the delegates a choice, and it's also to kind of break up this whole. We've got this farm system in Indiana where we're bringing up these very establishment-friendly Republican politicians through the ranks, so that we make sure that our governor is this. The governor gets picked by the people, but we make sure the lieutenant governor is who the governor wants, and then they're kind of moved in, and it's just so it's kind of breaks up the system, gives it more power to the grassroots. And I actually sat with Micah Beckwith at the Lincoln Day, and we had a little bit of a conversation. And then he spoke 5-10 minutes, and it was really good. Curtis Hill was there. A representative for Suzanne Crouch was there. Eric Dowden was there, and a representative for Brad Chambers was there. And I'm trying to think. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I think that's most of the field. Mike Braun, obviously, I don't want to forget Mike Braun. He's the front runner. No, he wasn't there, but a representative for him was there as well. So you've got Mike Braun, who everybody kind of feels like is in the lead. He's got a huge war chest, has done well fundraising, but he's also got, he's wealthy himself, independently wealthy. He's probably in the lead. You've got Suzanne Crouch, the current lieutenant governor. She's been running for a while. And then you've got Eric Dowden. He's from Fort Wayne area, and he's a lot of folks, a lot of conservatives like him. Not sure how statewide his appeal is, and certainly he's got a real struggle with name recognition, I would think, just off the cuff. And then you have Brad Chambers that was brought in. I would love to know the behind-the-scenes story, Jimmy, on this, because Suzanne Crouch is a conservative person, and she's a good person. I like Suzanne Crouch as a person. I really do. And not because she was the only politician to give me a chance when I was running for Congress against Larry Bucshon. That has nothing to do with it. But she was very fair to me. She was very nice. So I like her a lot, but she is tied at the hip to Eric Holcomb. When shut down Eric Holcomb took over and began to shut churches down and wanted to shut all these kinds of things down, she was silent. She was missing. And I think that's deeply hurt her campaign. Yeah. So then you got her still, though, as an establishment, as lieutenant governor. Mm-hmm. And then you have the establishment decide between Eric Holcomb and all of the apparatus in Indianapolis that they weren't satisfied with her. So they've apparently decided that, and they bring this Brad Chambers in. He is their guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the former head of the Republican Party quit to go work in his campaign. I mean, all the staffers are all the insiders from Holcomb, and I mean, they're throwing everything they have at this Brad Chambers, who voted for Barack Obama and supported Barack Obama. He is a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. Wow. Very liberal, but now he's come out and he's got a ton of money. He's got some fine. So there's a huge, crazy battle going on. Then Curtis Hill, who is the number one vote getter in Republican history, but he's extremely conservative. I mean, I think if you drew up your perfect conservative candidate as far as ideals and votes, Curtis Hill would be top of your list. Yeah. But he's got the scandal that took him from office, and I just think it's an albatross that it's just not gonna. I don't think it's something that is going to let that campaign get over.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to get over. The name recognition of Braun is huge.
It is.
From top to bottom of the state.
Yeah.
And even though Fort Wayne's a pretty conservative area with a lot of people, it's a big area up there, it's going to be really hard to get over that kind of overall sweeping name recognition of Braun.
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, at this point, I think it's Braun's to lose, but the race, I mean, it's still ongoing. There's a lot of months and a lot of activity, and I think Doden's being strong. I don't feel like Suzanne Crouch has picked up any ground, and I don't see that happening. But what's going to be interesting is you have conservatives who could be splitting their vote, and you have establishment figures who could be splitting their vote. That's why I just think it's going to be interesting. I mean, yeah. I don't know if you can really tell. Maybe with the polling, you can see that Braun's pretty far ahead. So maybe Braun, walks away with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they are running. He is running for
Micah
lieutenant. Yeah.
Yeah, Beckwith. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder where that came from. Where they just let the governor pick the lieutenant. Is that kind of like one of the James Maxwell rules, where you surround yourself by people that?
Well, I think it's okay. Let's have the rule of we'll let the delegates pick, but we don't really want the delegates to pick. So we'll kind of strong arm them into this is our candidate, and that's fine. And Micah said, to his credit, listen, these are the rules. So if you don't like them, then change them. As a party, you can change them, where the governor gets to pick his running mate. And if you want to do that, I mean, in the presidential candidate, it's evolved into where the president picks his VP. And we're fine with that if that's the rules. But if the rules are that the grassroots picks then let's let the grassroots decide it. Let's let several candidates run.
Where's the convention this year?
Well, it'll be in Indiana. That's a good question, because they have had it. They have had it in different places. That is true.
That might be
Fort Wayne, and I think they might have had it in Evansville one year. That is a good question, because I'm planning on going, so
you better find out.
Me and Andrea, we might want to find out where it's at. Hopefully, it's in Indianapolis. So
I don't know if they'll. I don't think we're invited to the convention.
You got.
We're not delegates.
Yeah, but you got to run for it.
Yeah, I need to run for delegate.
Yeah. Just put your name out there.
Well, now my supporter Brandon Sackman. I don't know.
You support Brandon Sackman? You voted for Brandon Sackman?
No, I didn't vote for him, but I support him doing well in Terre Haute.
Well, yeah, we all do.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. Yeah.
I just hope I hope he switches parties. That's what I hope.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if they give him a hard enough time, he will.
Yeah, who knows? You never know.
That'd be like a real nice one, wouldn't it? I like that. I like the sound of that, Andrew.
Yeah, okay. The American Church. Okay, so I'm on Twitter. If anybody wants to join me there, I think it's well, I mean, you can find it in I put it in profiles everywhere, but I think it's Andrew T. McNeil 73. I don't know, something.
It's
like
X, man.
Yeah, it's X now. That's
X.
right.
Yeah.
It's correct. Yeah. Okay, so there was a question posed on Twitter, and I responded to it. Got a lot of likes, and then a bunch of loonies that kind of, were responding to it and whatever. But the question was, and I want to pose this to you because I'm curious to see what you think.
Okay.
Our answers are not going to probably be the same, so don't worry about that.
Okay.
But the question was, what is the single biggest threat to the American church
As of today?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the biggest threat is comfort that we
That's
have.
good.
So, because I think there's a lot of Christians, specifically the church, inside the church, that are extremely comfortable where we're at today. Yeah. And we had this conversation a little bit earlier about, who has God used
Yes.
in the past and currently
Right.
to maybe not necessarily spread the gospel in what ways we might think that a missionary would,
Right.
but to bring gospel type principles, to bring biblical type principles, kingdom principles,
Right.
and these are
into other areas.
and these are people that swim against the current,
yeah.
and it's very comfortable to go with the current.
Yes, it is.
And the current is stronger probably than it ever has been for the church.
Yeah.
And so the one thing that I always think about is if you're comfortable, you have no reliance on the comforter.
Yeah.
You don't need
That's
it.
good.
Your comfort, your warmth, and what is fueling you is not from him.
Yeah.
It's from something else. It's either I've got a good job, I've got a good retirement.
Yep.
We're not getting any persecution at this point. Church gets done in an hour. I get to get to the buffet faster than everybody else. I go to church, raise my hands, feel good, and then I don't have to really deal with it the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And I think we have to get uncomfortable because the world needs it.
Yeah.
Because if we remain comfortable, the church, it's not going to grow.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be appealing to the people that need it.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for things that are...
So explain becoming uncomfortable. What do you mean by that specifically?
Well, I think that we're going to have to press ourselves into areas
You mean we have to be controversial?
Yeah, I think we have to be controversial. I think the youth is actually looking for this,
Right.
because they have been really indoctrinated by so much of the media. They're looking for truth,
Right.
and
truth doesn't care about your feelings.
truth doesn't care about your feelings, and truth sometimes hurts.
Yeah.
But there is a search for truth.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of this identity problem comes from.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that people are looking for truth.
Absolutely.
They're looking for something
Right.
of truth. And so I just think, and I think we're going to be a little bit more open about where the actual solution to the problem is in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, from the church's side. And the thing that has really that really hurts a lot is, and I know you've heard it 1,000 times, is people saying there's so many hypocrites in the church, right?
Right.
And so we know that, right?
Right.
But the one truth we have to know is that not some, not a few, but all have fallen short.
Right.
And so we have to realize that but then know where we're fighting from instead of towards victory. We're fighting from victory through Jesus Christ. But I think that we have to get more uncomfortable, and the church has to do that to become, really to cover the earth with the knowledge of God like the waters cover the sea. It's going to have to happen through uncomfortable situations.
Well, the problem with that, and I agree with you, but the problem with that is nobody likes to make themselves uncomfortable.
That's very true.
So we need God to do that, and I think in a way, so you've got this tide of lukewarmness, this tide of culture. It's just overtaking the church, and in order to push up against it, it's almost as if that tide has to cross a line inside of us that we won't cross anymore. Yeah. Basically, we can walk with you so long. Mm-hmm. We can compromise so long until we reach a point where our faith itself is in question. And these are principles and truths. We can't cross that. Yeah. And we've got to have a divorce. And yeah, that's uncomfortable because we're going to get persecuted and hated and maligned. But at the same time, if what we care about is the lost, then we're going to get the lost too, because you're right.
They're going to come in droves.
Seeking the truth. They're not seeking, tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that do. But the folks that are desperate, hurting, broken, whatever it is, and they need the truth. They need the gospel. Then they need to hear someone that's not trying to sugarcoat it.
Yes.
They're not trying to be a jerk, not trying to go out of our way, and certainly not trying to have a hateful demeanor. Mm-hmm. But we can't compromise on truth. And the church, unfortunately, in America has compromised so much. Yeah. So my answer was, it was very short, which is surprising for me.
Yes, it is.
But you
only had so many characters.
Yeah, on X, you got to be short. And I found that short sometimes gets, whatever. But I believe this with all my heart. And it's kind of the same thing you're saying, only in a more maybe political matter. But I said woke pastors and woke ministry leaders.
That's
period. That is the number, in my opinion, that is the number one threat to the church in America, because these folks find themselves in grassroots all over. These are leaders of congregations. And so what you're dealing with is not necessarily the congregation is compromising. You have the leaders of the congregations that are leading them in a wrong way or teaching them unbiblical truths. And then you have ministry leaders that, they're so caring, they're so loving, they really have hearts for Jesus, but they are pushing a political agenda that is anti-biblical and anti-Christ in a lot of ways. And I'm talking radical politics here. I'm not talking Democrat, Republican. I'm talking folks that are okay with abortion. They're okay with a 12-year-old deciding they want to be a different gender. And they're ministry leaders, volunteers. And these folks always find their way into ministries because they I don't know what it is, but they always do. They're always volunteering. They're always helpful. That's great. But then they're discipling people under them in a terribly wrong way. And the church has just seen a huge backslide, I think, because of that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I totally agree with you. One thing that I've kind of done recently, whenever I'm reading through the Bible and I think about when the Lord asks us to believe, right? Mm-hmm. Our belief is a big deal.
Yeah.
I have interchanged that with the word trust.
Oh, that's good.
So I think that's where the lost are.
Yeah.
They want something to trust.
Right.
Something that's not gonna, when the waves blow, it's gonna lose its, they want that anchor. Yeah. Something that's gonna be able to hold in the waves, is not gonna shift with the sands. And when you can trust something, and the truth, as you said, but you can trust in it, that's what true belief is trusting.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't look from the outside like this is what it is, you trust in something. And there's absolutely only one thing that you can trust. Yeah. And I think that there's so many people looking for it, but the wokeness is a little bit is scary.
It is.
Well, people start focusing way more on numbers than on the one number that matters.
Yeah.
The one person needs to be there.
Right. Yeah.
Right. When you put all of your eggs, and I don't know, this is my thought, right? I'm a big fan of the bivocational pastors.
Right.
And just
I think my son is too.
well,
Josiah,
I'm just saying because I think that as a male that you if you're a male pastor or whatever, but I feel like you need to provide for your family.
Yeah.
So if you're teaching the truth and you see around you your church dwindling, your livelihood could kind of seem like I need to get the numbers up.
Right.
I think it's absolutely disgusting that we count the numbers.
Really?
Yes. I think it's disgusting that,
Why is
they
that?
count the numbers in the church every day. Because I think the lukewarm people focus on it. Well, we got 80 here today. I'm disgusted by it. I'd take 5 people on fire for an entire stadium full
Yes.
of numbers.
And
the Lord would too.
I agree, but I think there's a balance with it, and I'll tell you why. Because, and this is something I go back and forth with, because do numbers mean that you're growing as a church? They don't necessarily mean that.
No.
But do lack of numbers mean that you're dying? Possibly. Seriously. I've had excuses from what I've seen, my experience. There's been excuses made for the numbers are way down, and I mean way down, because we preach truth. Okay, maybe. But maybe you're also just kind of weird and people don't like you.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah,
you're not that great of a pastor.
I get that. Yeah.
And then I also get, hey, we got tons of numbers. We're growing. Well, numbers-wise, you are. But are people growing?
Yeah.
Are you maturing believers? Are they being fully fed and then pushed into ministry? Are they operating in what God called them to? And that's the key of whether a church is growing. And it's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
So Jesus did start small, absolutely. But then he had the multitudes on everywhere he went. He was covered in crowds. Crowds came to Jesus. Was he focusing on we've got to get crowds here? No, but it was a sign.
Yeah.
That there was something good happening there. Same with John the Baptist. And John the Baptist preached hard truths. I mean, his truths were, and Jesus too. So I think, I've seen both, and to me, it's all about leadership. So what kind of a leader is your pastor? It is important for numbers, but not for numbers' sake. I think you can use it a little bit as one of the signs of are we growing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think it is something that is kind of important, but I get what you're saying, and I would agree with you. I think totally focus on numbers only means nothing. It of itself means nothing.
Yeah. Borderline hoarding.
Okay, Jimmy, I before we started here, you had we teased folks a little bit on this video that you've got a story, a storage unit story,
goodness,
and you didn't tell me all of it, so I'm excited to hear. This sounds really interesting.
It is mind blowing. So we've had this crazy virus going through the family. We had it's weird. Wuhan too, personally, I think it did, but every person in the family's been sick. But during the time when they've been sick, we've watched a lot of YouTube because it was during Thanksgiving time. We've got totally obsessed with Harry Tornado. If you don't know Harry Tornado, his name's actually Josh, I don't know, Tornado. But anyway, he's a super nice guy, but he buys stuff at Goodwill and resells it.
Okay.
And they've got this massive business.
Okay.
And he's good with the camera and stuff. Anyway. And so watched a lot of it. And, I'm always looking for a way to try to make, like side hustle money, right? So I thought I was, sitting on the couch watching the 12 hours of this stuff. I'm on my phone, fully charged. That's cool. So I just started looking up, okay, well, what if I did buy like a storage unit?
Yeah.
Super easy, right? Those are website you can get on.
Really? I didn't know this.
Yes, website you get on. You can look up local, and there's actually 2 of them for sale right now. But last Friday, I bought one.
Oh, wow.
And it was, so I thought it was going to be like eBay, right? Where you get on there at the last second you bid. But they got this funky thing that when you bid in the last 2 minutes, it adds 2 more minutes to it.
Oh, I hate
So
that.
that was
My
real,
wife
I was
hates
real
those.
afraid.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up getting it for $40.
Wow.
But you actually get, it's not like a closed door. You get to see like 2 or 3 pictures of it. Anyway, this storage unit said, the description was, it may contain totes and electronics. And you could see some stuff, but you couldn't really tell. 5 by 10 unit, tiny, like closet. So I was like, okay, good starter.
Yeah.
All right, so I read all the things. You take possession of it, and then when you take possession, you have 72 hours to clean it out. You have to clean it out, take a picture, send it to the guy running the place because they take a $100 deposit out, and you have to clean in 72 hours.
Okay.
So anyway, storage units are sold because people haven't paid
Right.
probably for a long time
Right.
on it. And so get this storage unit, $40, all excited. Went to Rural King. We all got gloves. And all my family, all the kids, except for Connor, he was working that day. And actually, he was sick that day. But we all got gloves. We went over there, got it, went to the storage unit, got in, opened it up, and it was like covered in mouse poop. like right off the bat. Like, you're like, what in the world? So my wife and my daughter like get out of the car, get the gloves on, walk over, like, oh, okay. And they walk straight back to the car. They went straight back to the car. So, I get a little bit like worked up about this because I got 72 hours, right? $100. I mean, I know it's a long time, but I felt like it wasn't because, we don't have a ton of time. So I just start going in and start ripping into stuff, looking at things. And, so 2/3 of it's
Was any of this recorded? You should have been recording
Oh
this.
gosh, I should have. But I wanted to do this just to test it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Tearing into it. 2/3 of it's trash. Actually found a dead mouse. Okay,
Oh.
so yeah, weird. All right, so started finding different things. And if you're, I don't know, if you got, I have borderline hoarding disorder. I get really excited. I'm like, oh, I could sell that. So I've been selling on eBay,
Okay.
like since like 2001. Yeah. Like when it first started, I usually just buy off eBay, but now I sold a little bit, but I don't sell a lot. But I'm like watching Hair Tornado kind of like got me excited. So anyway, inside of here were a bunch of computers, but they all had a name on them, like a tag with a name on all of them. And everything in there had a tag on it.
Like an asset tag, maybe?
No, just like a little tag label maker machine
Okay.
with a name and a phone number. Everything. There were 3 hammers and they all had names, and I was like, okay, that's weird. So anyway, I worked about 2.5 hours, took the good stuff home. Allison says, not going in the house. Cool. All right, I get it. It's in the garage. Put it in the
Did
garage.
you have room in your garage?
I cleaned it right before then just so I could have a place to put the stuff. So bagged up all these bags, threw them back in the thing. But I took some stuff home and I was like, I'm going to start listing some stuff, right?
Yeah,
Get it going
okay.
right now. Quick turnaround. So I woke up Sunday morning. I was like, you know what? I'm going to look up this name. I looked up the name and of the thing. And so I looked up Facebook Stalked, and there was a post made that said, all of my things were held for ransom. If anybody finds them, please call me. Back in 2022, and listed all this stuff off that I had possession of.
Oh, wow.
So I immediately was like, oh, shoot. All right. Don't feel good about this now. So I went to church, got done with church because this is going to be a long afternoon. Called the police.
Did you?
Yeah, county police, the county sheriffs. They came out and looked at it, and they said, well, there's been no
Report?
report put out for it. And I'm like, it's kind of odd.
That is odd.
So I said, can you call the guy and see if he wants it? Because now my 72 hours are draining, and I'm like, I don't want to start selling stuff with this guy's name all over it.
Right.
$40 is not enough to get in a fight about, right? So anyway, they tried to call him. They couldn't get him. So today they called and said, you can go back and get your stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm super stoked. So I'm going to go back and pick up the storage unit stuff. Anyway, there's some cool stuff in there. But I'm like a borderline hoarder, so I think a lot of stuff's cool. But the biggest thing for me is making sure I don't keep it. Because I want to keep the stuff. So if you have hoarding tendencies,
Because you just
Andrew,
never. Oh, yeah, tell me about this. So
if you
just
have them, you're just like, okay, maybe I do need 3 hammers. Okay, maybe, but that hammer's nice. So if you have that problem, it's therapeutic for me because I'm like, no, sold, gotta sell. Gotta sell. I'm gonna put it in a big bulk and sell it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So you're gonna do this now as kind of a.
I don't know. This kind of flopped because
You got your $40 back though, right?
I've already sold some stuff to get $40 back. And I'll make some money off of it.
Okay.
It's gonna be a ton of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's dirty.
Yeah.
And I got to get rid of it. So I can't just keep stockpiling things I don't get rid of. So, and then you also think about 2/3 of it's trash. I've got to take that somewhere to dump it.
What do you?
So usually people go to the dump, but I don't want to drive there. It's expensive. You get holes in your tires from nails. So I've heard Wallace's on the west side of Brazil will take it for like $20. So it's a lot of driving. You got to go pick stuff up.
So you've got a lot of work. You've got $60 actual cash out if you take it to the dump because you got 20 and 40 and then some gas and some time. And,
it's gas and time, yeah.
but that's still kind of a low threshold if you found something decent.
Yeah, I'm really looking for something big. There wasn't anything big in this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a really nice plastic case, and I was like, I'm gonna open this up and find like a pistol. Or something
I
in
feel
there.
like this story is missing Allison's side of it. I'd like to hear.
Well, I'll tell you, Allison's side. She gave
like
me
to
the
hear.
okay to buy it, and that was the first
Allison
problem.
is a very, very nice person.
She gave me the okay to buy it, and I was like, sure. I mean, this is gonna go. This is gonna go, and I think she got indoctrinated by Harry Tornado too, and she was like,
Well,
maybe
she was under the weather at this time.
Yeah,
Wasn't
I think
she
she was
Yeah.
very ill. And so,
So
I
you
should have
took
asked for
advantage of
more.
your way.
Well, we're going to see. There's another really good one going up for sale on Friday.
Okay.
Right now it's at $10, Andrew.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, just think about that. And I already looked. You can see it. There's an old vacuum in
I mean,
there.
I
might be
feel-
able to sell
see,
that
I'm
old
like
vacuum.
the opposite. I have enough of my own junk that I'm like, why would I want somebody else's? Now, my wife, on the other hand, that's a different story, and she sells a lot on eBay. She does not hoard, but she loves to sell stuff.
Yes.
I mean, she would consider selling one of the children if she could get a. And not, I mean, she wouldn't, but she would. I mean, there's
Yeah.
So yeah,
There's one day. Maybe Andrea and I need to go together.
Yeah, it's true.
While I was digging through this trash, I was thinking, dude, this would be really fun to do with somebody.
yeah.
Because we were kind of joking around, like, oh, we're digging through the guy's name's trash, oh, what's he doing in this? Well, why did he do that? So it's, the kid, I think the kid's going to
Next
kick out of it, but
time-
I mean, you
Next
seriously,
time, record yourself. We'll put it on in the
all you're
middle.
gonna see-
We'll put it on the middle of our podcast.
you're
We'll
going to hear me breathing.
Well, then work
breathing.
out a little bit.
We're breathing
in
hard.
shape.
I'm digging this trash out. But no, I was looking through
Well,
I saw that dead mouse.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shoot. So I made sure nobody's around. I was like, let's get that thing out of here. But
Well, you're gonna have to give us an update. Let us know how much you made off of it.
yeah, if I make some good money,
Yeah. Yep.
but I don't want to flood I don't want everybody bidding on them, Ryan.
You think because of this podcast?
Yes.
Because
of the
right
number
now,
of viewers we have.
You think
I'm
right
gonna have
now
more
the
competition.
demand is going to go crazy in Vigo
Hey,
County?
you know what? It's the inflation's bad, right? People are looking for options.
Yeah.
Some people
Yeah.
are buying coins. Some people are
Yeah.
selling stock. People are working more. I'm trying just
Yeah.
to make some cash.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's great. I'm glad the police. Were
Anyway,
involved.
yeah, I'm glad the police. Yeah, we're all good with the police. So
Family holiday traditions. All right, so I mean, we don't know because our schedules are kind of crazy and holidays are nuts. Anyway, this could be our last show of the year.
yes,
It's
2023.
been a crazy. It's been a crazy year, and it's been wonderful doing this. Jimmy, I've had a lot of fun doing this with you.
been awesome.
But I thought maybe this last segment, as we're kind of wrapping up the show, we would talk about maybe some of our favorite family traditions or some things that we do either through Thanksgiving or New Year's or Christmas.
You bet.
Anything
So-
come to mind?
Yeah, so I got two. One for Christmas. So this is something my wife started a few years ago, and it actually has I feel like it's turned into a major pain. But she probably wouldn't say that, but maybe think it. So for some reason,
I
we
really
bought this little Christmas tree.
Okay.
Wait,
This isn't
no.
what I thought you were going to do. Go ahead.
Oh, really? No, okay. So we bought this little Christmas tree that kind of hangs on the wall, and it's got a little pocket for every day in December, and there's a little candy cane that sits in it. Well, I don't know how I started this many years ago. Every day, she puts a new little message in the pocket. So, and it's something fun we're going to do.
Oh, wow. For the day?
Yes. 25 days of fun.
Yeah.
So, anyway, sometimes
that's a little
sometimes
bit
the
of
night before, she might be struggling with what our fun is going to be the next day because, especially my 8-year-old, will shoot out of bed, run down there, move the candy cane, and read it. What are we doing today?
That's awesome.
And you can't just put "do your school," right?
Because that's not fun.
No, so there's many different things. The good thing is that year to year, that we leave the little pieces in there so she can move them around and can remember what you did last year. Because, so like, we weren't sure what to do on Saturday, so I was going to Basler's in the morning. I was like, just call it donuts for breakfast.
Absolutely.
And the kids were cool with that, so we got donuts for breakfast.
Absolutely.
So it takes care of the whole day. But I feel like it. My wife is a big list person, right? So she's always about checking things on the list. But it's just one more thing on her list. Now my kids will probably remember it forever.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I cannot wait to give them that stinking tree so that they have to keep it up. And I'm pulling every little thing out so they can come up with originals.
Spoken like a true dad.
Yes, but anyway, tonight was decorate the basement tree, but it goes all the way to, but we have to feel like we have something every single day. So
That's a lot.
when your kids say, "I'm bored," what are we doing today? What are we doing today?
Yeah.
There is something that's done every day. In
That's
December.
a really neat tradition.
Yeah,
It's cool.
it's kind of a lot of work for her. The second one for us is New Year's Eve. We go out with my in-laws to Logan's, and then we come back and play a full round of Monopoly
Wow.
every year, and we keep the score who
What?
wins. It's old school Monopoly, and we know who won every year.
Oh,
But
that's
We're
cool.
usually done by about 10.
Is there a recurrent winner? Is there someone who's kind of dominating, or
Well, we kind of flex rules because the whole
you're one of those?
Well, no, the whole part about like once you're kind of swirling the drain a little bit, and if I buy you out and you just land, and
So is there mercy rules?
There's no mercy. No, because we're very aggressive. As soon as you get a place,
That's
as soon as
great.
you get 3 places, you start building.
Oh,
And you just
absolutely.
take it for everything they have. And then, towards the end, I usually give a little bit of grace, like, no, just keep those $3. I want to keep you in here for a little longer. But, and then we just,
Especially if they have properties.
Well, all their properties come, and then you
Yeah.
sell them, and then it just gets real ugly at the end. And then, honestly, the last like 20 minutes of it, the 2 people are standing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, until it's done.
Wow.
So,
but
really,
who's the winner? Who's won?
well, it really does fluctuate. I know
Okay.
I've won a couple. Connor's won a couple. Our father-in-law's won a couple. We always say he's trying to cheat us all the time, kind of joke about it. He's not, but he kind of likes to win too. So I think Lauren has won, but we've got a record on the back of
Oh,
this
that's great.
thing. Yeah.
Those
Anyway,
are
what do
some
you
great-
have?
Well, we we're not quite as maybe list makers, and but
That's a good thing.
yeah. I mean, obviously we always have the family over for Thanksgiving. Andrea always cooks a lot, and usually Hope, my daughter Hope, will bring some stuff too, and we'll have a great Thanksgiving meal. But the tradition that I have that I really enjoy, and this is I don't know if this is a dad thing. The kids love it too, but years and years and years ago, we started a tradition where on Christmas Eve we would take the kids out to eat any restaurant they wanted,
Oh,
and they could have anything they wanted. And then after the meal, we would go to see a movie.
that's
Yeah.
really cool.
And we did that year after year after year. I mean, we've done that for many years now. It's getting older. And usually it's Red Lobster now, and it's my youngest having a lobster, which is just hilarious. I mean, it's just really funny. But they order whatever they want, and no limits on that, and it's just and having a big family like we have, that doesn't happen very often. I mean, that's why it's special. We do go out to eat decent amount of times, but we try to leave the kids at home. We're definitely not going to Red Lobster, but once a year.
I know what you mean.
I joined their club after, because the bill's huge. I joined their club, and I was all excited. And we haven't gone to Red Lobster once this year since then. So we did that. And a couple of years ago, we kind of integrated that with going to Maryland's New Year's or Christmas Eve service, because they have like 4 services that day going into the evening. Their candlelight service, and so we would go to the service, then we go out to eat and try to integrate a movie or whatever. It was just
big night.
It's something that's just really, really fun to me. And then my birthday is actually New Year's Eve, and so which is kind of a weird time. I enjoy it, but if you think about it, everybody stays up all night long just to celebrate my birthday ending.
Being over, that's so funny. I was thinking the same thing.
Yay! He's done. It's no longer his birthday. So, but I enjoy it, and I don't ever feel that I'm cheated. I enjoy having friends and family over, and I always try to find, some kind of a party that I never get invited to. So, and usually I sit at home.
I'm telling you that whole the whole thing on Christmas Eve is so cool. I mean, I bet your kids are just,
they love it.
Those type of things. You hope that like when your kids, and you've had some of your kids grow up, get married, and start their own traditions. You don't. You want to have their own traditions, but sometimes it's going to be hard someday.
Yeah. When
they're not at home.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
I know.
You and Andrew are going to go out to eat, and you'd be like,
no, it's not the same.
Like a normal day.
Yeah, it's not the same. We've got Drew and we've got Grace, and we still have Hadessa. But that's it. Now, Daniel will possibly come with us. I'll pay for his meal. He still lives with us, but he's going to be 20. Josiah is still in Alaska. He's not coming home until maybe Christmas Day, so we're unfortunately not going to
be able to pay for his meal.
Yeah, and that's sad. I
it would be really cool if he was there.
And then hope and enjoy they've got their own life they're living. So, and actually, hope I think they do a seafood night over there.
Oh, that's
they
cool.
cook it all and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, so a lot of fun stuff. But no, it's we're blessed.
Yeah,
aren't we, Jimmy? We're very blessed.
We are.
God's been very good to us. Our kids and our wives are blessings, and it's because of the Lord. Not because it's nothing way more than we deserve. That's for sure.
That's true. And
I know I don't want to speak for Jimmy, but I'm pretty sure that we want to wish all of you a wonderful and blessed Christmas season, because Jesus is the reason for Christmas. And that your homes will be blessed and filled with joy, and that you'll know the peace and comfort of the Holy Spirit and of the gift that God gave us on Christmas. And obviously we know it wasn't exactly that day, just in case somebody gets bent out of shape, but it's a wonderful time to commemorate God himself coming to earth as a baby.
Yeah, it is.
For us.
I'll tell you one. Have you ever seen the little skit that they do with the shepherd, that one on YouTube? I'd really recommend it if anybody hasn't watched it. It's about a 5-minute skit, and I think it's called The Shepherd, and it depicts the shepherd, actually running into Joseph and Mary inside the city. I mean, this guy actually did it for his church, but it's 5-10 minutes, but it's really amazing.
I'd like to see that.
It's really. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. Maybe we can post it on here too.
Yeah, put a link.
Because I've actually sent it to some people, specifically even people that I know aren't Christians. But it just, there's so much power in. There's a lot of power in watching that and understanding a little bit better. But yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Yeah, thanks for watching. We appreciate you and listening. Yeah, if you're watching YouTube, YouTube's doing well, and also a Buzzsprout. But this could be the last one of the year. We've been doing this for a year, 18 episodes. Thank you for being with us. Crazy. And I know we're kind of all over this place sometimes, but we appreciate all the comments, all the encouragement, and we hope that your family has a Merry Christmas and a great New Year. And we'll see you in 2024 when we get this bad boy started.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see you.
I got a fire in me. You're gonna set to burn. We got a world to see and all the time to learn. Oh, hey. Let's set out on our road. Hey. We'll see how far we can go.